Hello, everybody, and welcome into a very special house special where the innkeepers throw random nonsense to our dear friend of the show, Ralaris. Ralaris, welcome on. This is your first time, my guy. We are very excited to have you and excited to learn all about map making. It's going to be delightful and delectable. I look forward to it. Before we get into that, though, where should folks go to find you, the things you do, the things you make?
Well, the primary resource would be my website, which is just RalarisMaps.com. And you can follow social media, Ralaris1 on Twitter and Ralaris.maps on Instagram.
There's some really good stuff out there. You've got a storefront with a bunch of commissions, too. So if folks are looking for that kind of stuff, I have worked with Ralaris on map commissions. Highly recommend it. If you guys want to see your homebrew world brought to life, he's done some very cool stuff, and he'll show some of that later as well. But it's been a delight working with you, man. So we're gonna
also one other thing. You can also see some of the time-lapse videos I put together for the map commissions that I do on my YouTube channel, RalarisMaps.
There you go.
Oh, interesting.
Beautiful. And they are really neat to watch, too. It's like watching the whole thing grow from a seed. So I love it. All right.
Does that video include all of Josh's secrets?
Oh.
Ooh.
You'll have to see. You have to watch and find out.
There one on Josh's.
I have no secrets.
There is, actually. That is one of the...
Well, Sean and I know what we're doing later.
There's a big project that Ralaris and I are working on now. Well, Ralaris is working on it. It's huge.
It's a multiple piece work in progress.
It's huge. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to do a few quick announcements, and then we're just going to start hanging out, watching you work, man, asking you questions, because this is kind of be a loose format, but we're hoping that if we get through our questions, we can open up the floor to y'all. It's kind of interesting, because Ralaris has to focus a little bit on some of his stuff, so there may be windows where literally Sean and I flirt with each other while Parker makes fun of us, so just be ready for that.
A normal Wednesday night.
A normal Wednesday night. But first, let's do some announcements, my friends. Parker.
I'm here with your schedule. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. You can find us the next time at 7 p.m. on Friday for Off the Rails. That's DM'd by Sean. It's a whole lot of fun. Then you can find us on Saturday at 6 p.m. for Conundrum Company. Those are both EST, by the way, guys. And then our big charity one-shot for the month is December 13th on Sunday at 7 p.m. It's called Adventure into Neverland. It is using the Neverland RPG or TTRPG sort of setup, so it'll be super fun. And then our the following Monday, we have Highlight Heroes with Captain Krail. That'll Josh and I will just talk and hang out. But then we are going on our 2-week break to celebrate the holidays. So we will miss you guys. Check out our YouTube to catch up on all the programming that you may have missed. There's tons to see, but we are giving all of our wonderful in a 2-week break, and then we will be back in the new year. So that is my thing.
We're gonna miss you guys, but
yeah, we won't know what to do with ourselves.
There's a lot of cool shit going on. I know Sean's been working on some very interesting stuff already. No spoilers, but whoo. Anyway, Sean, what do you got?
Hey, I'm here to talk about our charity, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which is an organization set up to battle childhood cancer and other diseases. Luckily, we've been supporting them all winter, and we're going to have this next one-shot on Sunday. So if you want to check it out, that's our big push for donations, is this Neverland one-shot. Got a lot of good people coming to the stream that day, so be sure to check it out and help us give to a good charity that helps save kids' lives, because that's a very important thing, I think.
It really is.
Big fan. Wait, don't say that. Never mind. I gotta go.
It's usually Josh that does it.
Immediately backtrack.
We're gonna get canceled.
I work with children.
What are these? Is that a river you got there?
That's the mountain, Sean.
Oh no,
A mountain.
All right, so you're putting some. God, that's fast.
That's a river. I got it. Okay.
Now there's a river. He saved you.
Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful.
He was very kind.
I like how you conveyed depth with that. What? Now there's a river and a mountain. My God. Oh my. So okay, what's happening here, Ralaris? Like, is this how you normally start, or are you just like?
No.
Are you just throw it? That
I'm
is,
just throwing lines down.
Now, what does a start look like? What does a fresh start look like? For
Let's get a whole fresh start here. So
let's get a whole new world.
a whole new
brand
world,
new,
all of the worlds.
fantastic points.
So typically when I would get a whole start going from scratch, if it was a commission, the client usually would have some idea of what they wanted in terms of shape or otherwise. I typically do any of these sketches on top of whatever they had previously anyway, because then it makes sure that both the client and myself are on the same page and what we're going for, and then I can use that to consistently work off of stuff, which I'll show you a completed one for a commission I actually did later. But to start, if we had no context and like I have a D&D world, or I have a book, or I have a map of some variety that I want to get made, I will start with just basic continent shapes or land shapes of whatever size. You can really work out the depths later, but I usually start with a bunch of different blob shapes. I will usually create like a base mass and then add or take away little bits of it to create little island sections or little bits that might break away.
Are there
something that might possibly be connected?
Are there rules for this, or is it like your heart's desire?
The rules are be like a kid with a crayon on the walls. That's the whole idea. You don't need fancy sketch lines. You don't need fancy sharp angles or fancy map names or whatever. Like, boom, look at that. We're adding that in there.
That's definitely Australia.
And then we'll go, it could be Australia. And we'll add some stuff down here.
Nice.
And then we'll just add another little piece over here. So I'll do something like this. And then we'll just add a new layer here. And for whatever reason, when I use my stylus, the opacity does not like to go down. It always stays at 100. So we'll go with that. So we drop the opacity. And then we can go in a little bit and then add a little bit more definition to these. So a lot of people think that land masses always have these just like jagged, this is a landmass, which you can have, or you can have these sections that just kind of glide down into wherever they need to be. I find if you cut sections out of the landmass as you're going, it makes it seem a lot more real and increases the size that it feels like. So going around your blob shapes, you can create little inlays or inlets, things like that. Add just some vague bumpy details. You don't need to follow it exactly, but just some possible little bits that could equate to some sort of possible landmass to it. So we'll just kind of jump a little bit here.
I really like that boot.
This weird polymorphized Italy that we just strapped on here.
I was going to say, it looks like it.
It looks like it's giving someone the finger.
My favorite is going to be the two little ones at the top. I'm calling it.
You calling it? This continent's just going, fuck you! Forget about it, OV.
That's Sean's.
Okay, so is the peninsula then, the Finger Peninsula is the peninsula of Sean. The islands are Parker's Islands? Is that?
Yes,
okay.
yes. The tiny little ones.
That's beautiful.
It might be just me, but it kind of looks like vaguely like one of those, I don't know what they're called, but like you could put like soda or beer in the like holders and straws.
Oh yeah.
If you look at it like
yeah.
this part up here is like the actual hat part, and then it's got like the straw bit that comes out, and this is like the man. I don't know what this is.
So our continent is a guy at a football game.
Yeah,
I love it.
You never know. So we'll just block in some of these shapes here. I always like to break up some of the areas that we've got. So even if you have big shapes, to add breaks in them, and add some different shapes around, kind of help break up the environment.
It looks like something on fire. Like it looks like flames like breaking away from it. I love that.
Okay. Ooh. Kind of going this way.
Can our continent be Calcifer from House of Castle? That's what it looks like.
I love that bay too.
Calcifer is quite the amazing character, so that would be nothing but a compliment.
We've got the continent of Calcifer. There, done.
Continent of Calcifer.
I love it. We did it.
It's perfect. The peninsula of Shika. and Parker Isles.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
You know
Masterpiece.
did it.
It is an island.
so-
I love that Proxima. It's a thought bubble. It's like it's thinking.
All right, so at this point, once we get all the basic shapes for the landmass done, what then I'd go into doing is figuring out your mountain ranges. To what would be in different places, and then that is where we can start to divide up the kind of biome features. Depending on what the person is looking for in the world, either we'll start with general biome sections and then applied mountains to where we think might be convenient to divide into different sections of like to split the biomes with different rivers, sections of hills or mountain ranges to kind of have a little bit more of a natural progression between the two, opposed to it just kind of changing like a Minecraft biome or something.
So when you say biomes, for let's say our viewers have no idea what that means. Biome is like an environment, like a desert.
Essentially, it's a notable feature to put on a map. So if it's like you said, like a big desert, or if it's like a tundra, or if it's a large section of varying forests. Sometimes if it's a highland, like a highlands area or something like that, or if it's got specific lowlands, if there's like a swamp section, things like that. Usually swamps, tundras, or frozen plains and deserts are usually the most common that people add.
Makes sense.
But it can really go anywhere.
Yeah, we met and I asked you for some real weird stuff when we were chatting last time. But every DM is going to come in with that, right? Like those real strange, like
Out there stuff.
yeah, like an ice
Unfortunately, some
volcano.
people have some really vivid imaginations,
Yeah.
and you can't always apply what they're thinking to something. I had somebody that wanted, I don't remember what it was specifically, but essentially it was they wanted the continent to shift into like I don't really know how to describe it, like corrupted land essentially, and then have it to break into pieces and then kind of like be sinking into the Underdark. And I was like, well, I don't really know how to portray that, but we'll try some stuff. And it's a part of it is the one attempt is in a commission that isn't completed yet, but it looks really good. But anyway, okay, so for this, let's try and do. We'll just add a little bit of a desert here. If I can get my.
Now, how realistic do you like to be with this kind of stuff? Because I know that mountains and rivers and all that stuff, they have a lot of very specific rules. How closely do you follow those, or do you follow them at all?
I am a big practitioner of the rule of cool.
Nice.
Perfect.
I know a decent amount, enough to make it seem fairly realistic in terms of the layout. But in the end, if it looks good, you have succeeded.
Yeah,
Also, if you think about it, I do fantasy cartography. I don't do real cartography. So it doesn't need to be on point with something in existence. It just has to look good and be somewhere like, in my mind, if you look at a map that I make or that anybody makes, whether it's like some amazing illustration or something fairly simplistic, if you look at it and be like, ooh, I want to explore that, then you've won as a cartographer, whether you're a professional or you're just doing it for your friends in a home game, or just a little short story you like to read, to write or read, something like that. You've succeeded as a cartographer. If someone looks at it, or even you look at it and you're like, I want to explore that, then you've won.
Gotcha.
You kind of touch upon a question we have, which is, what is the difference between traditional cartography and fantasy cartography? Like you've already kind of spoken to that, but like what are the big things you run into?
So I'd say the main things between fantasy cartography and real cartography is with real cartography, you're trying to portray something that you can physically see. You don't always see from like a bird's eye view or something like that. So if you look at old maps of like the world, it was always way different than like we get from satellite pictures and things like that, because people had to physically sail around these land masses and guesstimate, distance or shapes or sizes, and then try to piece it all together. And I'd say they did a pretty good job, but The main thing is that with fantasy cartography, you can have it be however you want. You don't have to follow like plate tectonic lines. You don't have to have like specific venting points for volcanoes. You don't have to do anything really. I mean, you could have one commission I did. Somebody wanted there to be this island section off in the distance, and have there be like a Titan's fingers that break through the edge of it and scooped it part of it into the ocean. And so I drew these giant gouges out of the landmass and had the water fill it in. So there's lots of cool stuff that you can do to kind of make the world seem more yours than it just be, oh, it's a map kind of in a fantasy style of some real place.
I got you. That's awesome.
So you've given a couple of examples about like things that people have told you that they really, really wanted that were a little out there. What sort of helps you when you're starting a map? Like what information do you ask the person for when they're making something? Like when you're making something for someone?
Typically what I would go through and ask would be a number of basic questions. One is, where is your focus point on the map? Because if you're going to spend a bunch of money and time to make a big fancy map, you want everything to be good and detailed. But usually when people are thinking about a world, they have an area, a kingdom, a region, maybe even a city or in a surrounding area that is their like hyper focus of whatever they're doing. And then you want to start with all the details in there, make sure you can get it locked in and pretty much as close to exactly what they're looking for as you can, and then make your way out. Because usually after that point, people don't have as like vivid of an idea of what they're looking for. So if you then can propose ideas as you go, so it's like, okay, well, do you need mountain regions to be anywhere specific? Is there anything that you've done in the campaign thus far or are planning to do that is a point of interest that needs to be, say, 16 days travel from the starting city or whatever? Like, is there some specific points of interest or things that need to be in specific locations or look a specific way? And then usually we'll go through, we'll add those, and then we'll build around those if they don't have anything specific. A lot of times people like this idea, not entirely sure why, but it seems to be everybody, that they like to have mountains, like say this top section here is going to be like cut off from the rest of the continent.
Yeah, by mountains.
Then you will put mountains like this, right?
Yeah, fuck those guys.
And so
Mountain wall,
like a big old mountain wall right across there. Now, I will typically never do that in any of the maps I do because mountains don't go like that in real life.
I feel called out, Lars.
I'm not saying anything. We'll just say I had to redo lots of mountains. My point is that if they have a section like this, you can do it visually. So if we back it up here a little bit, and we want that to be the effect that we're getting, then we can do our mountains in segments. And you can build it around to create this effect by having our mountains kind of weave a little bit. And it won't be like the mountain I put in here. It's like, okay, well, this is technically open. Well, you can just add some extra mountain here or there or otherwise. And then we can add in some other mountains over here that kind of wrap in down this way. And then we put some other mountains up like this. And then as we're filling it in, we can have the line work help cover up this area to, if it needs to be like blocked off to imply that. It covers a larger area, but it feels more realistic or more like filled when you look at it. So, and then if we've got something like this, assuming we've got, say, like if we're trying to follow the general rules of real life, if this is like a weird crumpling plate tectonic barrier or something like that, then odds are it's going to go up this way, going to sweep around and maybe come, like sweep in down here somewhere. So at that point, then I'd go across this break that I have here, and I would add some more mountains going down this way. And then we'll add some over here that usually ends up being somewhere on the edges of whatever continent or landmass you have. And they kind of creep up the sides. So we've got this kind of sweeping motion. And then we can add a few more that are out here into our desert around the outside, keeping it a little bit more isolated. And then we've got it sweeping up, so we'll go up to here, and we'll add in some more mountains.
So
and
cool.
It goes up to that side, got a mountain here, and then maybe like one or two up here. So now we've got this whole sweeping motion, but it makes it feel very like alive and fluid in terms of the actual makeup of the landmass that you have. And if you look at it, all we've got is some mountains, a little lake blobs, and a basic shape, but it already looks like it could be, well on its way to being a map.
That's cool.
And all I've got is a bunch of triangles and some squiggly lines.
The tectonic plates thing, I remember you asked me that on a commission, and I was like, oh, shit, I never once considered, and then I started to think about it, and I was like, well, this actually has, like, serious implications for the way the world is made, and we had, like, a whole lengthy conversation of how those plates separated, which is very interesting. So, yeah, that's coming in with tectonic plates.
But you can also change it up. It doesn't have to be plate tectonics.
And that's, that's the
what
big
it's
thing.
based off of, but you
Yeah.
can just say, that was a big snake. It died there.
Yeah.
It died there.
Well, there's a commission that I had that is currently in progress where they wanted a dead-on, like a dead straight mountain range because they had this giant of some variety that had fallen onto the continent and died, and its corpse made up a bunch of these various magical places. But one of them was like its spine that got turned into a mountain range, and so it was like straight all the way to the ocean. So, like you can certainly do that, especially if you have a reason for it. It might not always look optimal on a map, but if it fits what you're going for, that's the whole point of getting a custom map done.
Sean and I did a thing in Lore
brings
Jump
your life to it.
where we just made a giant nipple, which he hates when I call it that, but that's what it is. And it's the most awkward geographic feature on the planet, but that's literally what it is.
The
Like,
regret on Sean's face as soon as you started talking.
he hates it when I do it.
Plate tectonics are a guy who's really bad at building sandcastles.
Yeah, he just went...
All right, so for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to throw some rivers on here. I'll explain that a little bit. One of the RPG map forums, they keep having these memes they put out about rivers because everyone complains about the non-realistic rivers that people do because people like to have them split all the time. And rivers almost never split except occasionally at the very edge of a continent, and it's less of they split and more of they're just kind of widely running over the land. But yeah, anyway, so just to give a basic indication, usually what I like to do is I have a starting point for the river, and then it flows out to the sea in some manner or fashion. I usually have it come from mountain ranges or pre-existing lakes. Lakes can have as many entry points for rivers, but they only have one exit, and that exit is the lowest point. That doesn't need to be necessarily represented on the map, but you can kind of get the indication. So we'll say we've got our mountain range, and we've got some of the rivers coming out from there, and we've got, say, one that comes out from here, and we've got one that connects into this river here.
That's because rivers flow into rivers as well.
Yes, we can add another river up here to give it a little bit more depth. We don't really want to put one up here just because it's so close to this edge. So what we'll do is we'll end it right there. And then we'll have the lake itself flow out and snake its way around here and go out that way. Then we'll have this one kind of connect into here and this one connect into there. So now we've got a little bit of a river system on our little landmass.
Love it.
And then this one, we can have some fancy rivers that go down to here.
That is a
Have
big
this one that
lake.
comes out to here.
I like it.
Yeah.
Just add a whole bunch of squiggles. That's pretty much how it goes. Yeah, and then we've got our little sea lake, whatever we want to call it. But sometimes people think that because they usually think about this as up and down, rivers and stuff don't need to flow like from north to south in any way. They can go from south to north. It's based on elevation. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual up and down that you usually look at.
High to
So
low,
here
not
we
north
could
to
have
south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could have, some rivers that come in here and maybe one that connects all the way over there. And just a little bit of one that's up there and even over there. So, ta-da. But we've got some starting points for that.
Beautiful.
And then we will throw just some trees on here. And usually when I'm doing sketches, I will just do blob cloud trees is what I call them.
Blob cloud. Oh, gotcha.
Blob cloud trees.
Gotcha.
So
Trees are always the
then we
hardest
get
Yeah.
because part of me feels like they should be everywhere, but that's
yeah.
not representing on the map.
But these are indicative of
No.
dense forest more than they
Yes.
are all the
Something-
continents trees,
But
right?
my mind looks at a map and says, "This needs more trees."
Well, typically when I go through, I've got various tree brushes that I made. So I've got like a full tree, then I've got like the tree in parts so that I can fill in something at a 3/4 view, which is what I do all my maps in.
Gotcha.
We're just kind of like sort of tilted.
Mhm.
Then you can go through, and after you do the big blocky sections of like the big forests, you can add individual trees, kind of just spread throughout the terrain to help fill it in, but also to imply that there are more than just the large forest sections of trees that you see.
Gotcha.
So it also depends on what scale you're going for, but yeah.
That
So
makes
we'll add in a few more here, and a little bit there, and we'll add just a whole bunch of trees up here, and a little bit over here.
I'm just like, I'm looking in chat and I'm naming all of these geographic features off of people in chat. So I'm like, the Proxima Range would be a cool name for a mountain range. So there you go. We got the Proxima Range, Yeti Forest. That
Dude.
sounds lore cool.
Lore cool.
It's just a forest full of Yetis.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Thanks, Rel. It's perfect. Mount Chad.
Alright,
Ooh,
so-
yeah. Mount Chad is a big mountain in the middle. There you go.
So
Like-
this is what we've got so far laid out. Now, what we can do, this is just kind of me explaining everything that's on here. And so what I was thinking that we could do is, this is a walkthrough on what I've got going on. This is a sketch that I've done for an actual commission. So we can see it a little bit more here. So it's got a lot more notes on it.
Ooh.
But like there's a whole lot of details and labels, things crossed out and changed, a lot of handwriting of various notes on here. They've got whole not on that layer. They've got whole like notes and different things that they added to change various things throughout the process. But this is what we've got for the sketch here. So we went through and did the little sketch detail that we had just done. I also prepared some line work already for continent shapes. And so we can pick one, and then I'll have you guys throw out some stuff that we can populate the map with.
Make our own
so-
continent.
So for now, we've got the first one here, which I threw together. It's a little bit larger, a little bit more full of some islands here.
I like it.
So this one's a possibility. Or the second one, which is this one here, which has a little bit more of a unique feel to it, and a centralized landmass. So do you have a preference between the two?
All right, guys.
Here we
A
go
or
back.
B?
We got
A or
one,
B?
I like the islands.
A.
Parker likes the
This
islands.
one? This one
I
looks
like
the
that
whole
one.
world sort of zoomed out.
Ah,
So we've
the one
got
that like the islands, but one has like the bigger
we've got
central thing, right?
Yes.
so this is A.
A.
Just
Like an archipelago almost.
yeah.
And we've got B, which is the more continent-esque one. Which one?
Okay.
Which one do you guys want to do?
I don't care. You guys.
You know what? Let's do
This is
A.
the most
Parker likes A.
indecisive-
Yes.
indecisive.
Parker likes
A.
A. Let's do A.
Thank you.
We'll do A. All right. So we will start, as I did the other one, with
Moss
mountains.
Pants. The Moss Pants Mountains. Sorry. Button put that in chat. Moss Pants is one of our viewers.
Oh my god.
The Dragon Lakes. Ooh, that's
So-
cool. Black Dragon.
Ooh.
Love it.
All right. So, what are we doing here? What feature do we want that mountains might be related to?
A volcano.
Well,
An ice volcano.
An ice volcano.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see
how would that
what
work?
we
It
should.
vomits
How does it-
ice. Catch lore dump on Mondays. Boop, 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 boop.
Now the chat's just gonna sing that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Got it locked in their mind.
Oh, look at that! Look how quickly he like throws it down. He's like,
And there it is. Ice volcano.
ice.
It's burning in my apartment. I'm trying to be real cool about it, but something's definitely burning out in the kitchen.
I definitely want to see a swamp at some point. Swamps are always good. I
Ooh.
like swamps. Weird
That sounds like
swamps.
fun.
Mushroom
live there.
swamps. Yes, we can.
Not bad.
We talked about this earlier.
Donkey.
I feel like there's a discussion coming back that maybe it needs
There
to,
it is.
and maybe
That's
it
the
doesn't
fire
at the
alarm.
same time.
I'll be right back.
Sean's
Oh,
house is
no.
on fire. Everybody.
See, I
He'll
feel
be
like
back
I'm watching
momentarily.
one live stream with Matt and Marisha from Critical.
Right?
Oh yeah.
With their house on fire from
Which one of
Firefly.
us is Travis calling me like go
Just
to handle
turn
the
it off.
fire?
Get off the stream.
Stop.
Get off the stream and handle it.
Oh my god, so good.
All right, so we've got a start there, and then let's just do. I'm always a big fan of these,
The little like
so we'll put some of this here.
that looks good. I like that.
Go.
Oh man. All right, Parker. What feature do you want to see most of all?
Feature do I want?
Yeah. Like a beach or like a
I like mountains.
canyon. Do you love like, a canyon? A canyon would be cool.
I
to
like
see.
mountains and forests.
Those are a given. What do we? Swamp, desert, canyon.
I want a great lake.
You want a Great Lake?
I want a big lake.
None of those
Not an okay
medium
lake.
lakes. No okay
Just
lake.
a big
Like
lake on
a moderately okay lake.
yeah, a moderately okay lake. Between between a lake and a great lake.
All right, let's get. So here, I'm gonna
Lake.
do a little something that I often enjoy doing
Okay.
with my lakes.
Can you draw
So we
Sean's
get a-
house on fire? Can that go
We
in
get a-
there?
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool, cool, cool.
Give me a second.
I'm kidding. Don't. I'm just.
Give me a moment.
But there it is. Oh, it's. There it is.
We do
Shika
your
Castle
house.
is on
Wow.
fire.
We do your Lars.
Hey, it's a lot less on fire in this picture.
Oh
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, it's a master. That was
just
like,
soup.
impressive. Just soup.
no! How do you burn? What?
You forget.
Skill. That's how you do it.
it.
Skill. All right, so we zoom in here.
Okay.
Get all in there. See them glorious pixels.
Yeah.
So what we've got some lakeage. So what I like to do is I'll work it into the mountains.
Oh yeah.
Oh, neat. To give like that depth. That is a cool lake. I like the scale of this is kind of it's not as big a landmass, so that it's closer to.
Yeah, and then we just add in our glorious squiggles.
Ooh,
Squiggles of doom.
Squiggly.
That's all maps are, just squiggles.
Fancy squiggles.
That's how we do.
Fancy
I'm learning so
squiggles.
much today.
All right, we got a really large lake.
That is a
We
great
have a really
lake.
large lake.
Josh, stop
We
it.
do moderately
That
okay
wasn't me.
lakes as well. So we will,
I asked for a great
no, I
lake.
can't do-
That's Parker's fault. I just
Hey.
reiterated it.
We're gonna do that, and
I didn't make it a pun. I just asked for a lake.
I like how you're like, how dare you imply I made a pun? But how dare you?
How dare you?
You
So we'll add
Monster.
in some others.
Ooh.
God.
Okay, so what's the best thing someone's ever told you to add to a map? Like your number
Best
one, like
thing-
this is I want to play in this world.
This is a big question.
That is a good
Alright,
question.
come to you.
I will think on it. We'll come back to that as we go.
All right, fine. I'll allow it.
Josh,
Emily,
are you
I'm
okay?
slowly dying. 1 foot in the ground.
We're all technically
All right,
Sean's
so
house
while
is
I'm
on
putting
fire.
a bunch of these blue dots everywhere,
Ooh.
Look at that. It's so wet.
Josh, can you pick a location to put a swamp?
I can, as soon as I get over the fact that I've yet again embarrassed myself.
You're a child.
It
Follow
wasn't!
up on that with the swamp related
I think
things,
we're
but
children,
I figured
Sean.
I'll just leave it.
Yeah,
It's
you
swampy.
Swamp.
stop. Okay, I'm sorry. Swamp. I really like. Okay, that bottom left continent island. Excuse me, it's not a geographic terms.
This one?
Yeah, to the top of your circle there, top left of the circle there. That kind of looks like a good. Maybe down a little bit from it. Kind of that inlet, and then running down like a swamp in there. Yeah. A swampy swamp. I could be totally wrong on that, but I like where. Yeah, right in there.
Yeah, where that like little.
Yeah, that
space
there's
is.
that inlet from the sea, and then we got some swampiness.
It kind of looks like a. If you turn your head like this, it looks like a dragon head. You see?
Oh
What?
A
yeah.
little snout.
Rah!
It looks like a little
It's
sideways
upside down. Yeah.
dragon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cross that out.
This is just the three of us making fun of each other while Rolaris does all the work. Is what this session
Yeah.
is, and I love it.
And sometimes ask us questions
Yeah.
about where we want things.
Ah, that's cool. Look at that swamp. Swamp.
Ooh.
That's where Shrek lives.
Mermaid's tail. Oh, yeah.
That's where Shrek lives, Sean. For you. Donkey.
Nice. That's where Farquaad banished all the fairy tale creatures.
Dulop is such a perfect.
I literally thought about singing that song.
We're gonna get copyright struck. I'll stop.
Not if it's less than 15 seconds.
I'm so accurate at singing that they'll be able to tell. Ooh,
Can you sing that full song in 15 seconds? I understood it. I knew it. I knew it was
Mission
you.
I
accomplished.
wonder
Too
if
good.
that's the most annoying like background noise Rolaris has ever had. Before
He's actually got
trying-
us all on mute.
I really. he like mutes to ask his questions.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, oh, I think they're still there.
Yeah, who knows?
We're still there.
Their
We're
lips
still
are moving on the camera. That's good.
Little closed captioning thing going so he doesn't respond.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We got a swamp.
We got a swamp.
How would you like to use
like
a
it.
purple?
Nice.
I like
I
it.
love it. I love it. That's a good spot.
Swampage.
We've got lakes. We've got swamps. Sean, what is the cool thing you want to see on this map? What do you want added?
For me,
For you.
for
Me
me,
personally, what
I
would make
mean-
you giddy?
what would make me happy?
Stalling.
Yes.
I already said the volcano, but I guess I'll come up with something else.
Yep.
I want to see what's something Josh doesn't like. I want to see the
Everything.
Bahamas. Where's the Bahamas of this?
The Bahamas.
Where's the island?
Where's the tropical island?
Okay,
Tropical
tropical.
island.
That's a better.
Pick
I
me
want
with Sandals Resort.
the Bahamas
There.
specifically.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
little one.
So these are like pretty white sandy beaches, palm trees. That's what you're looking for.
yeah,
Whole
yeah,
famous day. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. The elves
you-
go
how would
here
you
on
do that?
vacation.
How would I get away to my Sandals Resort on this island?
Ooh. I saw the brushes change.
Uh-huh. Huh?
I like the noises have to help too.
Our immediate concern.
Oh,
What's this?
Oh.
Ooh. Oh.
those palm trees? Hell yeah!
Under the sea.
Hey.
There's somebody in here who's very excited to see you, Rolaris, by the way.
Who is that?
Ion Sekildaman.
I once killed a man, Josh. Wow!
I'll
I
go.
once killed a man.
I'll go. I'll go.
Killed a man too?
Bye.
Wow.
I'm sorry for butchering your name.
Got a little
Hell yeah! I like that.
do.
Okay.
Need a, well, I'll just stick with this now. You need a different color.
I once killed a man. I knew that.
Yeah.
Shut up. I'm dyslexic.
I know you are. I mean, to be fair, I looked at it and it was like ions, and then I looked at the rest of the word and I went, oh, never mind. That makes sense.
I looked at 3 different parts of the word in different orders and then failed to understand what it said.
So thanks for watching UNC.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy your
Oh, look at that!
welcome to our chat.
What? This is
Those clips?
neat.
What are those?
Yeah.
Beach clips.
Oh, cool!
Ooh.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
Love that.
Is this where you live, Sean?
Yeah, yeah. I live,
Is
on the
this
beach.
where you
Yeah,
live?
he lives right here.
I live right on the tree beach.
Tree boy.
There's a hammock
There's
between
There's a
the
hammock.
trees.
Yeah,
That's my house.
it's a hammock.
I've got a little lake
Aw.
right
That's what
there.
I drink out of. Because I can't drink out of the ocean. On
I like you just completely live off the land. There are no structures. You have no tools. You just.
It's just
Oh,
there.
there's a
Actually-
full Holiday Inn down the street. I just don't go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the Holiday
There's
Inn.
all of it. There it is. There it is.
Hotel, motel, holiday.
Oh, it's on fire!
It's
It is
Sean Paul.
Sean's house.
That's the Shika Isles right there. That's the Shika Isles.
It's not my fault, but it is sort of also my fault.
Now it is complete.
That's perfect. That's
Did it,
perfection.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
That's an important
So-
more part.
back to the
What
rest
we were
of
actually
the
doing.
Blobbity
real-
lands that we've got.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's do. We'll do this kind of green.
Ooh.
All right, so we're gonna add some forest
Tree time.
art down here. This will lead into our attempting basic color adding later.
Oh, gotcha.
So we'll see how that pans out with the way this line work's set up. But for now,
Oh, it's all right.
this is what we got.
We got trees.
We got some trees there. We'll put a little
Green trees.
bit there.
Noise.
Interesting. Like big floofy land clouds.
You're learning. You listen.
Solid. Yeah, land cloud.
Floofy land clouds.
The oldie floofy land clouds.
That's how they're
Just
marked
like
on old
Romans
maps.
used to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Land clouds.
Me and my floofy land clouds.
Oh
And
my
we will
god.
add a big old section up here because
Ah, yeah.
that's what you need to have.
Because we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll just fill it in with some floofy land cloud lines.
That's the
just
technical
to-
term.
That's the yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's native Latin.
Oh,
Some
You know,
floofy
when you,
land.
like,
Flufimus Dominus Cloudimus.
Yes.
Somewhere button is cringing. Probably in our chat.
Yeah, they are watching.
Like that's not where that goes.
Beautiful.
All right. We got some of our land floof there.
Land
I
floof.
think we'll add just a little bit more down
I
here.
love land,
Oh,
land
beautiful.
stuffing.
What?
It's our land
Sean
stuff.
called it land stuffing. I'm
know, like
thinking
before
like
the
cotton
bear?
candy.
Build a bear.
Oh, build a map.
Yeah.
Don't forget your stuffing.
Build a map workshop.
Do you ever do any of? Oh Jesus! Do you ever do any like beneath the ocean stuff, or is that just like it's water? You see water from the map.
I haven't done any actual commissions. I've done a little of it on my personal map for my new D&D campaign, but it was just very localized to a Triton city
Okay.
off the coast of a port. But in terms of general stuff, I haven't done anything under the water. I've done a few floating islands and stuff over the water, sometimes over land, but usually not too much.
Okay. Just
Most
curious.
people seem to have kind of land focus in mind.
Yeah. Not Josh though.
Not Josh, no.
Josh has got a bunch of sea stuff.
Because he doesn't have
His
enough of that.
entire map
All
is
under.
just sea
Yeah, it's all.
There's 90%.
I actually commissioned it's just a blue map. I didn't ask for the features to be drawn. It's just blue.
It's just blue. Perfect.
16 shades of blue.
Yeah, 16 shades of blue. Which is it's like,
60 shades of blue.
Stop it. Stop it.
oh,
Voice.
Mr. Blue.
All right. So we've got that filled in a little bit.
It's
and
beautiful.
We're going to switch
Ooh,
to a not yellow-green.
not yellow green.
To a deep basic green.
Yes. And so we will add in some
Jungle.
more tree fluff.
While you're adding features, don't stop your work if the question is too complicated. But like, what brought you to this line of work as you kind of work on your map? How did you start in map making, especially fantasy map making?
Well, I think I've always been interested in making map stuff, but I don't want to say I've never been good at art. You know, the idea of art or playing the piano or whatever, you think it's like, oh, that is really cool. I wish I could do that, but I don't want to practice at all. I just want to be good at it.
Yeah, it keeps me
That,
in
that was
that.
my mindset for the majority of my life, and yeah, that doesn't get you very far. Just so you know, if you weren't already aware, I have now informed you.
Life advice. We come to Twee to learn about life. Yeah.
Just, you know. So I had done lots of attempts at things, and they never really went anywhere. It was just usually lots of squiggly lines. But my younger brother came up with this idea. And basically, we got a 4-foot by 8-foot hardboard, I think it's called. It's kind of like flattened cardboard or paper into kind of like a thin chunk, and then on one side it's got this sort of white laminate on it. I don't know what it's used for. My brother got it from a hardware store, and it was like pretty cheap, and he's like, neat, let's use it as a whiteboard. So we built French cleats and put them on the walls in the bedrooms of my parents' house. And so I used one at the time when I was DMing to try to illustrate what I was picturing the world to look like. And so it was tons of trial and error, and eventually the first map that I drew was literally 4 feet by 4 feet on like half of this whiteboard in wet erase markers.
Nice.
And there was a lot of stuff. That one's actually digitized and colored on my website as one of my references. But that was the first time I ever did anything. And then I ended up talking to a guy named, his handle is Jog Borgson, and he does maps in Ireland. He's got his Patreon and stuff that he runs there, and so I met him through that. And so we got talking, and he's like, hey, this is really good. You should totally try to do commissions. I'm like, no one's going to want my stuff. And now I'm here. So
Now you're here.
that was pretty much the lead up.
That's awesome.
But it was just lots and lots of trial and error. But eventually stuff looked good, you know? And then sometimes it's the things where it looks good and then you can never replicate it. Like if you draw an E once and it's like perfect, and then you try to do it again, it never looks the same. Yeah. So it's just, you know, sometimes there's some trial and error in that particular department. But yeah, but that's pretty much what led me to where I am now, doing burning houses on the Bahamas.
Perfect.
Settles Resort on fire.
So you started on a makeshift whiteboard. What programs and tools do you use now? What are you working with right now?
Well, now what I'm working with right now is Photoshop, but that is not the normal program that I use to draw my maps.
Mhm.
Typically what I do is change this real quick. Typically what I do is I use Procreate on my iPad.
Oh.
So it's more of a specifically drawing application for the Apple iPad. And I've just found that it's a lot nicer to be able to draw things straight on the screen. I've tried a whole bunch of stuff, like even when you get the display monitors essentially for your computer and do it through there. It never really clicked. I need to physically draw it, but I needed the tools the digital stuff had, because I feel like I'm good, just not that good. And so it's just this gray area of trying to figure out what works for you and what you can use the digital tools to assist you, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also on Procreate, where I made the parchment background we see back here. This
Very
is
cool.
one of a handful of them that I've worked on to use as backgrounds for stuff. But yeah, so I added in a little deserty here.
Love it.
And so we've got some features that have been filled in around. And I think, why don't we add 2 more things really quick here? Something maybe on this island and something right around here. Any thoughts on what should be added?
Can we get a canyon?
Which
No.
one? Pick a spot.
Right island. Throwing it out there. Let's do a canyon.
That forest looks like that island's brain.
Yeah.
It does actually.
It's doing a tree thing.
Can you make the canyon its mouth?
See.
Run that way.
Ooh, that's neat.
It's like I'm watching a time lapse of it being formed in real life.
And the eons passed. Now we arrive to today.
Here you see the migration pattern of the canyon. Slowly
Jesus.
forming down the continent.
I just.
It happens to be its mating season.
Make no mistake about it, people. This canyon fucks.
Oh my god.
That's a pretty big canyon.
That is a
It
big
is.
canyon.
I
That's
like
awesome.
it.
I love it. Ooh.
It's divided into 3 pieces.
The canyon split.
Rivers can't split. Canyons can. That's why they're called canyons.
They can.
I
can.
hated that.
Oh my
can do
god.
that.
You're on a roll, dude.
Why are you like this?
That's beautiful.
Gosh. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
neat. I love that.
You can also just keep that part as like a little plateau.
Yeah. Put a city on it or something.
Yeah.
Boom.
Then
I like how we're just completely
We said
transfixed.
and.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah,
say
I know.
we're like-
We said and, and I was like, what? What happened?
Oh, there's a river! Yes.
Somewhere in there,
That's
there's
a-
a body of water.
That's a Grand Canyon. Thank you.
Was... yeah.
Oh, a lake. Oh, what a waterfall! Look at
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
that. Oh, man.
I like that.
This thing just got cool.
boom,
Boom.
canyon.
Canyon.
I like that.
Amazing.
Mission accomplished.
10 out of 10.
Perfect.
We don't need to know where the water comes from. It's just somewhere in that.
Somewhere
forest.
in
That's
those
where-
trees.
That's where. It
The
comes
trees are crying. It's called the Weeping
Yeah.
Forest.
Someone
Boom.
left a,
from. All right.
The weeping forest is all a bunch of like,
Willows. That
yeah,
the decanter of
willows.
apple water tipped on its side.
A weeping forest.
it just
It's
cries a
those-
little bit. Just tears.
Probably actually not. put
They're
that on
weird
there.
magical willows that exude water. Boom! Lore dumped.
Did it.
All right. Look at that. Weeping willows.
Weeping willows.
Hey!
I like it.
So sad.
The river
All
of
right.
tears.
So now we got to get one more thing over here.
Yeah, what do we
Yeah.
got?
What about Parker?
What?
You pick.
Oh. Okay, I didn't.
I have an idea if you can't come up with one, okay?
Go for it. Oh, he's drawing me now. Thank you.
Even-
Parker's
it-
there.
He's drawing me now. What's up? What do you think, Jack?
What about a big ass crater?
Oh, don't say ass crater. Don't. You just saw how literally was with Parker.
Okay, just a regular crater, but it's big.
It's a big crater.
No butts involved. Just crater.
Oh,
You're no fun.
no promises.
Secret tunnel.
Secret,
Under the mountain.
Secret, 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 secret.
Ooh, that's cool.
Forget the next couple of lines, but then it and
Yeah.
God, that's neat.
it's really good.
What's the lore behind this, boys? It's a big crater in the middle of this continent. No. Not everything gets to be a big chicken.
I like to think that this crater was not an impact, which maybe, but an explosion.
Oh, I was gonna say it was dug out from underneath.
Or someone really scared a house hunter,
Yeah.
Ooh.
and it just booked it.
Yeah, it's like,
Freaking
I'm out.
Baba Yaga's house running. It's a
Boom!
house of chicken legs.
There used
It's
to
like
be
a
mountain that
Curved
ran
blast
away.
mark, yeah.
There used to be a wizard tower in the center of that canyon.
It literally rocketed into space. It was so big. A whole city. There's a whole city that was there, and it just magically like yeeted itself upwards and left a big
One
old
day the
hole.
wizard tower started
Legs.
emitting some sort of light, and then the entire town was gone.
It jumped so hard that it left this crater.
Yeah, it did a big jump.
I would play D&D in this world.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
look at that. Oh, a little.
Is that a foot?
There's an extra. Yeah, there's layers to it because
Well, that's where the legs for the jump came.
yeah, the pressure
So
point.
they grew under the city, and then one day they stood up.
Oh yeah, and some shockwave marks, some cracks. Yeah.
There's their footprints.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my
It's
mistake.
just one big footprint.
There it
It's
is.
like the Harry Potter.
There, he's asking, you shall receive.
Just copy paste like that crater next to it, and just two of them, Bigfoots.
Now it looks like some giant fell over and then put its hand down to push itself back up.
Like,
Like,
hello?
Yeah, Rats tripped, and he went to catch
yeah, he's like,
Oh
oh, that's amazing.
no! Oh no!
Guys, this is how you build lore for your worlds.
There
It's
it
just
is.
throw stuff out there. Oh, beautiful. Oh, yeah. This is good. Somebody
Oh,
face planted.
You don't like the snow?
Yeah,
Oh,
It's perfect.
that's
And
amazing.
then we'll just do a little.
Eyes.
I love it.
Now it looks like that big piece was like a beak or a nose. It's the giant chicken. We're back to the chicken.
We're back to the chicken. It always comes back to the giant chicken. In its escape, it fell
It's-
face first onto this world. It caught its
There we
foot
go.
on that mountain range and
I
just
love
swoop.
That's beautiful.
good.
10 out
I
of 10.
love that. Oh no.
So now, Relars, we're already nearing, we've been having too much fun. We're already nearing the 1 hour mark
Yes.
here. Do you want to show some work, or do we want to extend it a little bit longer and you do the color stuff that you were thinking about doing?
Let's see. That I would say would be up to you all.
How do you guys feel? Do we
we
want to
can-
run like a little over, 10 minutes over? Does
Sure.
that sound good?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Do a little color
All
for
right.
us. Show us
All
what
right,
it looks
let's
like.
let's do. We'll do.
We're all having fun. We've got a crater.
Yeah. I love that faceplant crater.
It's good. It's good. Nom, 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 nom.
Always remember to label your layers.
Yeah. That's fair.
So
Like try
then
to-
what we're gonna do is we'll get rid of this one. We'll go to this one. And we'll do this.
Just while you're doing that, what do you think the merits are to use paint on? I'm sorry, Sean.
Get called out, dude.
You can do it. What, you don't think I can make a perfect looking map in paint? That sounds like a call out.
I'm a little, you know,
What kind of paint you thinking? Like MS Paint?
Yeah.
Like
that's what
100%.
Sean.
That's his medium. His medium is MS Paint.
Better
Yeah,
than
I would like-
Photoshop. I'll die on this hill.
Oh.
You'll die alone.
None of us will come to you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you can stay over on that hill by yourself, bud.
Wow. I see.
Look at how cool this looks.
It's so good. Ooh, that's neat.
all right. So what we're doing here is we're gonna go
Secret tunnel.
here. We'll go. Trying to remember all my hotkeys.
Mm.
MS Paint has hotkeys too.
Sean. Sean, no.
It
But
does
while you're
indeed.
behind.
You can copy and paste.
Oh, whoa, my mind has been changed. Look at
Oh,
me, sold.
boy.
It's pretty advanced.
You can do most of those things that you said.
That What's the
Considering
testing?
MS Paint is the only program on my work computers for my day job, and my boss calls me in to try to do something because she knows that I do art things.
Ah, yes.
And
art things.
MS Paint doesn't let you do anything with layers or transparent images for the most part.
Well, yeah, it requires slightly higher skill level.
Oh my god, Sean!
Oh my god.
I don't have my MS Paint degree yet.
What I need
Unfortunately,
now.
I wasn't able to afford tuition. Yeah, it's a little bit pricey for me.
I just
Free
need
college.
us to do like Ralaris puts all his stuff up, and then I need you, Sean, to show us your work. And
I think we should do a side by side where it's Ralaris
Yeah.
drawing and Sean drawing, and it'll be
Yeah.
perfect.
You can find my MS Paint work weekly at my Twitch stream.
It's actually very good. It's
It's
beautiful.
a lot of fun.
All right, so let's go back here, and we are going to get a fancy brush. By
I love fancy brushes. Guys, we're coming up in the world now.
different brush. Let's go with this one. That looks pretty neat.
I'm learning so much.
I know, right? This is a cool looking space here.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we will make this bigger, and then we will start picking some colors. So
Keldor.
what I'm going to do is we will start with the green.
All right.
And I usually like to zoom out, maybe even a little more than you ought to. And then we will just start by slathering some color on here.
Look at that.
Ooh.
The hell?
And this is the point that we get those happy little accidents that favorite Bob Ross talks about.
Oh my god.
So then we'll go with a little bit darker and a little bit muted.
Okay, but for real show pitch, while Ralaris is calling, could you imagine a Bob Ross map making show where he's just like, and now we've got some happy little trees, and you just like watch him do a map and like fall asleep to it? Like that would be so
Call
sweet.
it happy little accident.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's a good name for a show.
Good job. Oh
Look
my
at this.
gosh.
Oh, it's so pretty. I know it's really small, guys, but you'll see soon. We'll zoom.
You got this.
So I usually like to build up color, and I am a huge fan of snow
Yeah.
on maps. I
Let
love
it snow.
So-
Let it snow. Right there.
So-
Look at that.
We'll
Good
kind of drop into, I don't know what color this is, kind of like a bluish green
Oh yeah.
Oh, neat.
as we get up a little bit higher, and then we'll start to just kind of curve it in just a
Ooh.
little bit here.
What color is?
Because the Earth is round.
Is
not
Perry-
flat.
And then
Drops of knowledge from Toy.
I believe it too.
Why are you not convincing when you say that? Oh, periwinkle is of like a blue color. You're right.
You never watched Blue's Clues?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
It shows.
So, I just got a
Oh,
letter.
boy.
I just got a
fired.
letter. You're full of shade. Anger at MS Paint, and anger at
am.
Blue Clues is just that house fire really got you riled up.
I live on the streets for the rest of the year.
No, you could live in Josh's basement.
Sleepover. It's true. The rent is very high for my basement.
Yeah, rent is too damn high.
2 meatball subs a week. Okay, it's out of his
No,
price
you
range.
have to eat that weird hot dog.
with
What?
interest.
Josh. That's what it would be.
Yeah, you're forced to eat weird hot.
Alright.
Weird hot. I'm
So
not
we
gonna.
got
Ooh.
some
God, that's
basic
cool.
color shading differences.
It's gorgeous.
So typically what I would do when I'm going in and detailing base color is I would select whatever color we got and start adding things to it to help kind of break up the color here.
Streaks.
Oh, I can't.
So this kind of exemplifies almost like climate, right? What you're doing
Yeah.
here is
Yeah.
latitude,
So-
longitude stuff.
There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to go into it, but I'll just do a little bit here so you can kind of just see.
Ooh.
So basically, you start adding color, like I just call it color layers. But basically, you just start building up the color, and so you go with a darker color, you go with a lighter color. These aren't the typical brushes that I would use to do this, but it gets the point across. I usually will then bring it up into the other color that's going up, and then I'll build it down when I do the other color as well to kind of help add in some of these details. And then we'll go real dark, and then we'll see about turning the opacity way down. And then we will go in and add another layer of color. This kind of has a similar texture. I usually have a bit less dotty of a texture for the brush, but this is what we got.
Now that
And
we've
then-
figured out the continent in the center really does look like a chicken. Yeah. Continue, I'm sorry.
One thing that a lot of people think is they're like, oh, we've got a landmass. We've got grass, we've got trees, it's green. It's not green, it's brown and blue. When you add shadows, shadows are usually purple, and different things like that. So when you're building up a color, you usually want to put some browns and even some straight up oranges in there.
Interesting.
And then you add it at a lower opacity. And then when you go back over it, when you go back into your greens, you get something a little bit more desaturated. And then we'll add something a little bit more vibrant, with a little bit more light in it.
Pop,
Cover
pop.
this up.
Ooh.
And then we'll add something with a little touch of blue just to break up the greens and the oranges a little bit.
Sass it up.
Because if you don't know, if you shine light on a leaf, the light turns blue. So you're looking at shaded pictures of trees casting light.
Interesting.
Which you'll never need to use again, but now you have that knowledge.
I'll be on Jeopardy one day and I'll be asked that.
What is blue?
Periwinkle.
What? That's periwinkle, Josh.
It's a blue.
No, it's periwinkle. Blue is blue. Periwinkle is periwinkle.
All right, so then we've got a little bit more definition on the color here. It looks fairly dotty, at least to me in particular. I use different base brushes, but if we zoom out, you can see how that kind of looks a little bit more like something in there.
Yeah.
And you just kind of build it up in more specific areas depending on the level of detail that something needs.
That's so cool.
And then we'll just go up to our area up here, and we'll do a little something.
A little something, something.
A little something, something for our snow volcano.
Yeah. Snowcano.
So snow is often blue and gray. So we will get some grays in there. We'll get some blues with a little bit more color, and we'll just add
Blue,
little
boppin' dee,
hints
boppin'
of
dee.
that. And then we'll go back and we'll go to a little bit more of a lighter off-white color. And try to add some of that back in on top of this.
That's neat. This really is. It is turning into a Bob Ross thing now. It's
Yeah.
little back
And
in
then
there.
we'll go with
Beat the devil.
lighter brown gray. And we'll just do a little hint at something here,
Hint.
which I usually do for my mountains when I get that far. So you add kind of like a base color for where the mountains will be.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do focus mainly on this here.
Yeah.
There we go. And then we will go back to our lighter color. And we will add it back on top. We'll keep the opacity low so it starts to kind of build up on top of it. And so it gives this kind of sooty, muddy appearance. And then we will go ahead and get a little bit darker.
I like watching the three of us be completely transfixed by this.
I know.
We're just
We're all like,
How do colors work?
And then we will go here and we will get a little bit brighter.
pew pew. Ooh.
add some depth to our piece here.
Look at that.
Then we're gonna do something a little fancy.
Yeah.
Fancy done.
Fancy.
So we'll do this one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a red. Pretty vibrant red. Should be good.
Ooh.
And we'll do this.
Ah, that's pretty. Ooh.
And it forks.
Is it not a river?
Oh, oops.
Lava river.
I like that. That's cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And what we're gonna do is we will then take an orange. Make our brush smaller and get way up in there.
Get real close.
See it all.
Ooh.
Little highlights in there.
It's hot. That's hot.
Ooh.
Mount Icy hot. That's good, Yeti. I like that.
Oh my god.
10 out of 10, man.
I want a whole map that's just inspired by memes. And that's all I want.
That's all we need.
Lore dump, yeah.
Doop-a-doop-boop,
Welcome to
boop-a-doop.
lore dump. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So good. Ah!
A little yellow in there.
It looks so good.
That's the yolk.
Stop it. Not everything goes back to the chicken.
This mountain's
Prove
on
you wrong.
fire. Gorgeous.
So then we've got some of our lava here, but then we gotta do the most important part,
The most important part.
if it will scroll.
I am death.
Back to our reds.
Ooh.
And I am just gonna do another layer here. I need it a tad bigger, and then I need to drop my opacity. And then we do this.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh.
The light
And then we pull back.
This is kind of.
Ah!
Look at that! Amazing.
So cool.
That's neat.
There we got our volcano. We added
I
some
like
some
our ice
lava here.
Oh,
volcano.
we got
I like
detailing.
I like our
Got
creator
some-
face.
Some crazy colors on all this.
That's beautiful. Bravo, sir. Bravo. All right. Do you have some finalized work to show us in the audience?
I can pull up one here.
Let's do it.
We'll see if it'll let me pull this one up. We'll see.
Oh, big files, lots of
There we
work.
go.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Hey!
So this is the
Yay!
first map that I did for Josh.
That's so good.
Look at those
It's
mountains cutting off
so-
the continent.
Yeah, let it straight in half.
Yeah, look at that.
Shut
How
up.
weird.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that ever.
It looks like you almost
Weird.
get that exact example.
It does, yeah.
Leave my mountains
yeah,
alone.
You're like sometimes people like
It's
their
beautiful,
mountains to go right like this.
Yeah, that was me.
See, it seems like I'm calling Josh out, but I've had at least 5 clients do
Oh,
that.
I've seen
At
thousands.
least
I believe
5.
yeah.
So yeah, but we've got all of our crazy labels on here, and I usually section them out into various little layers and things to get everything labeled in and fit right. But I've also got this whole border thing that we've got going on here. I made that, which is actually a part of the time-lapse video that's on my YouTube channel for this piece.
It's
So you
very
get to see not only the piece being made and its time-lapse being drawn and colored, as well as you get to see the border being made, and then you get to see the final piece at the end.
And that compass rose on the right you did too, huh?
Yes. This one right here I did. I don't know if you can see my mouse on there, but
Yeah.
yeah, on the right-hand side I did that too. But
And this map
yeah,
has
it all
been
turned out really
used
well.
a few times in one-shots here.
Yeah.
There's a few spots that have been referenced for our
There's been a
longtime viewers.
couple.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of one shots played in your world.
Yeah, you were in Radistock, Parker, for the Bard one.
It's right there, the big. And then I was also
Thrazidoon.
in
Yep.
Thrazidoon, yeah.
Right on the kind of right corner of that mountain range that's not supposed to exist.
Two of my girls exist in this world somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful
love
map.
it.
I really
It's
love
attempting
it.
to open
so
up
good.
another one. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see.
And
See.
this is the very first full color map that I ever did.
Oh.
Hey, look at
Yeah,
that.
wild mount.
The Wild Mount.
Hey, look, those mountains cut all the way across the continent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
lot of
except
people-
Devin Rue did an amazing job of breaking them up. I just followed the blueprint.
I'm
But,
trying to put together how many people actually do have that idea.
Yeah.
There is many. But yeah, we've got some ocean effects. But I found out if you just change the parchment background that I have under there, it makes it look completely different.
It does
wow.
change it a lot.
Yeah.
But all I changed was one parchment background and the hues that are on the parchment background for the burn effect that it has. But
Wow.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here.
And you've
100% prop to Devin Rue.
you've shared this with Devin Rue and Matt too, huh? Like they gave it the thumbs up.
Well, it's not currently in my office, but I've got a printout of this that I had most of the Critical Role team sign
Oh, that's
Nice.
Wow.
That's
at a convention in February, just before the apocalypse hit. So,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah,
perfect time.
yeah, but is a good time. Good time.
Well, thank you, man, for doing this with us. It was really good. Can we get one more time before we close out? And sorry, audience, we didn't get to ask questions for you, but there was so much to go over, and we were having too much fun. But maybe again. But where can these people find you? One more time, my friend.
The most up-to-date places are my website, RalarisMaps.com, and my YouTube channel, RalarisMaps. And then you can follow me on Twitter for Ralaris1, at Ralaris1, and Ralaris.maps on Instagram.
Oh, appreciate it. And thank you, audience, for hanging out with us. Yeah, and thanks, Parker and Sean, for participating. This was so much fun.
Thank
yeah.
you, Josh.
All right. With
You
that, yeah, thank you, Relaris.
Thanks, for letting us scream random things at you while you draw.
Yeah, that's
I was just
impressive.
Running houses, apparently, that was the majority.
Yeah.
And chickens.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see you guys on Friday for Off the Rails.
See you guys
Looking forward
then.
to it. Bye.
Everybody.
And